Good day and welcome to the second of our three-part series on Teslas. The first part was on what is wrong with the Tesla Model 3 and just Teslas in general, and it boils down to just a ton of small things and a couple of really big things. This video is where Tesla is getting beat by the competition. There are many places in which Tesla is being beat by the competition, which isn't a surprise considering there are thousands of OEMs and parts manufacturers. But some Tesla fanboys would have you believe that they're producing the best of everything all the time. And while they do produce an excellent vehicle, there are these notable places. Most notable are two big things. One is regenerative braking, which I'll explain in detail in just a moment. And secondly is road noise. Then there's a pile of smaller things that you may not notice as much. So it turns out that while Teslas do support regenerative braking, it isn't through the brake pedal. So the way regenerative braking works on most EVs, in fact every EV I've been in except Tesla, is one of three ways. Firstly, you can put the vehicle into low or high regeneration, and that's for the one pedal driving thing, which we're going to explain in just a minute. Tesla's kind of perfected that. And their argument is that that is the superior way to go. I would argue that whether it's better or not, the other ways are an awful lot easier for drivers of traditional vehicles to flip over to. So there's the driving low or high regen, which all vehicles do, all EVs do. You have that choice, including Tesla. The other ways are, for most vehicles, is to depress the brake pedal a little bit. When you depress the brake pedal, what will happen is instead of the friction brakes kicking in other words, the calipers clamping on, what actually happens is the electric motor starts producing electricity rather than consuming it. That's an awesome way to go. GMs have a really cool feature, Cadillacs, Bolts, Volts, that kind of stuff, and presumably new product in the future, have an awesome feature which is a little button, a little paddle on the side. The Cadillacs have speed shifters, you know, typical transmission shifters that don't act as transmission shifters. They're actually paddle brakes. And that's a really nice feature. And what that gets you is maximum regen, which is just like one pedal driving on a Tesla, except you control it. With the Tesla, you have to put it in low or high. The brake does nothing but actually engage the friction brakes, which clamps the calipers down on the discs and wastes your energy. And there is no button, no pedal, which is a real loss for Tesla owners. Their regenerative braking is controlled exclusively through their control panel, as you can see here. And what that means is you are required, if you want to have regenerative braking, to use one pedal driving or one foot driving as it's known. That means if you touch the brake pedal, you are wasting your energy. You are sending that energy into heat and friction rather than back into chemical storage in the battery. That is absolutely nutty. In the future, it might be smart, and I'm not opposed to having the option to operate like that. However, I think it's a very, very bad idea to not bother to put the engineering in to have the brake act as a rheostat for the regenerative braking. When I push the brake in a little bit, I would like the electric motor to weigh in and start regenerating electricity. The second most important place where Tesla is behind is in road noise. Let's take a look at some video that I recorded on my M3. And as you can see in the top right corner here, lots of companies, including Ford in this case, have come up with ways to deaden the sound that Tesla has not. Specifically using multi-pane glass, lamb glass as it's called in the industry, which is more expensive but really keeps the sound down. What Tesla really should have on its minimalist design is a heads-up display. In the let's take a look at what a heads-up display is if you're not familiar with it. It's also called a HUD. And all it is a little pico projector that sits in your dashboard and points up at the screen being the windshield, and puts up relevant information like the speed limit, your lane departure, you know, things like that with your indicators are on. And it just makes driving a lot easier. It does take a minute to get used to, much like getting used to the center screen on the Tesla Model 3 where there's no center screen behind the steering wheel. But it's a very handy feature that you get used to very, very quickly and come to rely on. It costs almost nothing. You can buy a Pico projector retail for, you know, $80. You can buy them actually cheaper than that, but you can buy a reasonable one for 80 bucks. And yeah, it just projects up onto the windscreen, and lots of manufacturers have this available. Cadillac is bringing in now augmented reality into the navigation. That's going to be beautiful. Has night vision, beautiful. A 38-inch curved screen, beautiful. It has the Ultium batteries. The Ultium batteries are the first batteries to break the $100 per kilowatt barrier. I believe Teslas are something like $130, $140 per kilowatt, and I believe that's US dollars. You can look it up because I'm sure people are going to argue this, but the Ultium batteries are fantastic. And yes, Tesla will advance, and yes, Tesla will have a better battery at some point. I'm just pointing out that they're not the best at everything all the time. And this is a really big one that GM, and for that matter, almost everybody is going to have on Tesla. The self-driving requires you to have your hand on the wheel. So, and the reason for that is you need to twist it so that it knows you're looking. Most other companies are not using that method. What they've done is most other companies have put a camera in the vehicle and they look at your eyes. So Cadillac Super Cruise, for instance, it has a camera actually in the steering wheel, which is kind of weird, but that's where they put it. And what it does is it looks at your eyes. And if your eyes are looking at the road, you're good to go. With the Tesla, you can, and we've all seen videos of this, people falling asleep at the wheel. And you go, well, if they've got to have their hands on the wheel, how can they do that? Well, you just put your hand on the wheel, put a little bit of pressure, and you can fall asleep. It's pretty tough to do that with the camera staring at you. Now, there's privacy issues with that, but apparently people have got it, you know, other companies have got around it. A little thing that Tesla will fix in future years, although because of battery constraints, and I say constraints, just doesn't look like they can get enough batteries. This probably won't happen for a few years. They don't have a small car. The pitch from a number of people is that, well, the 3 is a small car. No, it's not. The 3 is most definitely a mid-sized car. It's a very large trunk. It's a very large back seat. It's quite comfortable. Lovely seats, by the way. Just another great feature with this car. But they don't have a small car, and they don't have a city car, let's call it that. So the Chevy Bolt, the Nissan Leaf, those vehicles are better suited for the city. So they're just more palatable to those that are used to cramped, you know, places. Another thing is plug-in hybrids. Now, this is a very contentious issue, right? Yes, hybrids mean you have a gas engine as well, and hybrids mean a bunch of complexity and so on and so forth. I don't care about the complexity because for me, it's under warranty. Don't care. But for me, you have no range anxiety whatsoever if you're driving with a gas engine, because there's gas everywhere. Now, the Tesla fanboys will tell you that's wrong. There is no such thing as range anxiety. There's chargers everywhere. Well, yeah, a couple of things. One, if you want to plan your day, yes, there are chargers everywhere. If you want to figure out where you're going, yes, there are chargers and you will be fine. However, I live slightly out of town. There are no chargers in my town other than the one in my house. That is in my garage. So my daughter will often drive for, well, I'll save you the locations, and let's just say she'll often drive 75, 80 kilometers to work and back. She'll park it in the driveway, not in the garage, because, you know, why would you park in the garage for 20 minutes? She'll run in, have a quick shower, and just run back out and go off driving with her friends. And they may go out to another small town, which, again, my location's a peculiarity. And she'll bring the vehicle back with 30 or 40 kilometers left on it. That's called range anxiety, people. So yes, with especially the standard range 400 kilometer battery, which after 1 year is a 350 kilometer battery, which means you start to get really worried about 300 kilometers. Yeah, there is periodic range anxiety. Now, I just drive 22 kilometers to work and back, and I charge it mostly at work. So for me, I generally don't care. But the competition, as it were, with hybrids don't have any issue at all. I was getting 70 kilometers out of my Cadillac ELR plug-in, and that covered me to work and back. And I picked it up and drove it for more than a day without any planning or consideration from Seattle back to Calgary. And the other one I picked up in Vancouver and drove back to Calgary. No problem at all. Didn't plan it, didn't think about it. Just got in, ran to the electricity, ran out, and then went on the gas. It was wonderful. Another thing is Mazda, as an example, has sign detection. Tesla will get there, but they don't have it now. Another thing is Toyota has just upped the standard for warranty. They're now promoting a 10-year warranty on their electronic, on their plug-in components. Mercedes has now, and they're showing their 400-mile battery. So that's a 600 and change kilometer battery. And you think, well, Tesla's going to have that. Yes, of course they will. They just don't. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I've explained that before. Getting back to the hybrid thing, another thing that Tesla's missing is hydrogen. Now, I don't think hydrogen is going to be as big as some people think it is, but Honda and Toyota aren't stupid. Whatever you think of them, they're not stupid. And they're putting big money into this. Now, Tesla may be able to flip over pretty quickly, but right now they're a one-horse, pardon the pun, they're a one-horse company. And that horse is probably going to work out. And for the record, I think it's the right horse. But I'm just saying that they lack that diversity. Toyota has brought out predictive efficient drive. And you think, what the heck? That just sounds like some whiz-bang, garbage that doesn't really do much. No, it's pretty cool. It learns your routes, uses artificial intelligence, and it learns the routes that you drive. And it knows where you're going to slow down because that's your driveway. That's your office. And it can adjust the amount of electricity that is used as a result, or the amount of gas if you're in a gas engine. Tesla doesn't have any of that. Now, will they have it in the future? Probably, but I haven't heard a peep out of them. So predictive efficient drive is another area where Toyota is ahead. Let's sum this whole thing up by saying that clearly Tesla has produced a fantastic product, and I use the word fantastic intentionally. It is a very, very nice set of vehicles. But they are far from the zenith. They have much more they can do, and there's much more they will do in the future. They need some more time, they need some more money, they need some more capacity, but there is lots and lots and lots, wait for it, and lots of work for Tesla to do to get there. And in that time, the other companies will have unexpected leaps. They will also make unexpected acquisitions. So companies like Henrik Fisker's new company, companies like Rivian, there's a whole pile of companies that could merge with some of these big companies like the BMWs, Mercedes, GMs, Toyotas, Hondas, whatever, and take their products mass market, like Henrik Fisker's planning to do with Volkswagen. That is going to be a very innovative solution from Fisker, if he cannot go bankrupt this time, which I think he won't because he's learned from his past mistakes. Anyway, I digress. If you have any questions or concerns, please get a hold of us at www.partisanissues.com. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.